This episode of Previews World Weekly is brought to you by Hakes Auctions. Since 1967, Hakes has been the premier source for all manner of Americana and collectibles. To see the full list of items available for auction, visit Hakes.com. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day. Just another reminder, we are not doing Halloween Comic Fest this year. I keep seeing it show up on social media. Sorry, guys. We did Free Comic Book Day later than usual, so they just backed up too close, but we'll be back with the spooks next year.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So you're making it a thing. I like it.
I like it too. The minute you were like, that's a good tag on. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It is.
I like it. Let's run with it. It is October, as you noticed, as you noted, because of Halloween Comic Fest's absence. But there are other things to do, of course, right? Yeah. Not to mention, of course, you can just go trick or treating or go see Halloween at your movie theater or whatever, for the month. But like Inktober's another thing that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was last week. Was it last week? I'm losing track of days, actually. I got to be honest. I'm getting old. Last week, I think it was last week, I bullied Joaquin, our special guest, into
that was last week.
Yeah, that was last week. Thank you, Ashton. You're making me feel better, because even if you can't remember, maybe it's just
I didn't. I was like, he's on here recently, and Natasha was here recently. Not sure who was here when.
Right, yeah. Just a small brain fart. That's the nature of living in this alternate reality we call normal. But we've been doing Inktober art submissions, and we have our prompt, and we've been floating it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all our social media, and it's been really cool because we've been getting some submissions floating in, right? And so I wanted to showcase some of these. This one was for Doctor Strange, which was day 9, which I thought was really cool. A little Cthulhu call out right there, and also Mount Ole, MT Ole actually, who's been all over this. He's been on top of this. We did one called for Raccoon, and I love the thing I love about these is like this. I guess it's the raccoon from Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So that was what one person did, but then MTOLA decided to do Rocket Raccoon, right?
Of course.
I think we have some more here. There's a really great James Bond right here. Yeah. So yeah, 31 days, guys, and we're doing a different prompt every single day. And at this point, we're 13 days in. Oh, here's Ellie from the Last of Us. And I think there's another Ellie too. Yep, there you go. And there's Joaquin's art. There's Joaquin's contribution. So thank you, Joaquin, for participating. I love it.
These are insane. I wish I had any art skill, like traditional fine art, right? Drawing, painting, any of that, because these are incredible.
No, I mean, look, I can't do this. We were joking last week. My Inktober submission was a big stick figure. So, which know what? Hey, look, if you guys want to submit an awesome looking stick figure, then go ahead and submit an awesome looking stick figure. But just look for the prompt. I'll be sure to float it back on our social media today for those of you who are late to the party, because it's 31 days and I'm seeing frozen faces. I don't get that.
Are we frozen?
I'm so lost.
I'm equally as lost. I am equally as
All right,
lost.
so I'm assuming that the stream is kind of frozen.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't resist.
Oh, Johnny, you did that.
I thought we forgot something.
No, I didn't submit that. Someone's saying that maybe we were frozen or something like that. But I'm like, if he's saying frozen faces, I'm just going to throw this up there.
The wrong season, Johnny. It's not winter yet. It's time for, please don't start that.
The cold never bothered me anyway. Okay, I'm ready. I'm here.
No, cool. It's all right. It's okay. Look, you never know. You might get a small musical from Previous World Weekly. That's part of the fun of doing it live. Well played, Johnny. Okay, Johnny.
Don't encourage him.
Don't encourage him. Cover Price Comics. Please don't. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, look for the prompt. It's 31 days. We're about 13 days in, but it does not mean that you cannot participate. Just jump on whichever day tickles your fancy, whichever one appeals to you, because that's what it's there for. This is a community building exercise, like something cool to do for the for the season. So get in on it. Do it. Yes, thank you, Johnny. That is Ink Previews. #Ink Previews. I'm off my game today. I'm gonna let you know that right now. like absolutely
Oh,
awkward.
it's going to be a messy one then.
It's going to
That's
be a
what
messy
I'm
one.
hearing.
Okay, it's a messy one. I'm just letting you know right now. My brain is going 18 different directions.
Great.
Anyway, it is New Comic Book Day. So let's jump into this week's picks. Ashton's got a pick, I got my pick, and then we're going to put you guys onto some new comics available this week at your local comic shop. Let's go. Hallelujah indeed. All right. So it is New Comic Book Day. You know what? I'm going to go first this week
Oh, switching it
because
up.
I'm switching it up. I'm switching it up. So I have not seen the new James Bond yet, which is kind of
Mm.
raking at me right now because I
Oh,
really want to go. And I live right across the street from a movie theater, but I just haven't had opportunity to do it.
yeah.
But that does not mean that there is not more James Bond available for me to like pick up on. For example,
Mhm.
James Bond Hemeros, which is available from Dynamite
Ooh.
Comics this week. So Dynamite has the James Bond
Mhm.
franchise. You know, of course, they're known for things like Red Sonja and Vampirella, but they very much have been playing with James Bond world
Mhm.
for like the last couple of years. They've done some great stuff with writers like Andy Diggle and Warren Ellis and so forth. And so this one is actually from Rodney Barnes. Now, Rodney Barnes actually has a massive career in television. He's worked on shows like the Wu-Tang Show. He does a book for Image Comics called Philadelphia, which is also perfect for this time of the year. That was the number one thing that kind of piqued my interest about this. That and the fact that it's 007, but also the description, because it explains it. The description of the book gets into this whole thing about the Greek god Hemeros, and then it dives
Okay.
into. But when sexual desire goes too far, it takes the legendary super spy James Bond to bring justice to the vulnerable among us as he investigates the suspicious death of an accused sex trafficker, one whose ties run deep and deadly. So I'm kind of curious where this is
Oh.
going. Yeah, it's a little grittier, which I'm
Mm.
actually kind of into. I like the gritty James Bond. I've been going back and
Yeah.
watching some of the earlier stuff, and some of it's a little too cheesy for me sometimes.
It's kind of goofy. Yeah.
It's kind of goofy, and deliberately so. Like I don't want to be
Yeah.
one of those people who's like, "Oh, it's old, it's goofy." No, it's deliberately goofy. It was goofy
Mhm.
even then. But I do love the Daniel Craig like more intense stuff anyway. So I'm all for this interesting what looks to be a suspense thriller from Rodney Barnes and
Mhm.
Antonio Fuso, and that's available at your local comic shop today. What about you, Ashton? What are you looking forward to this week?
Okay. One, you guys should be very proud of me because there is an Avatar book out this week from Dark Horse, and I didn't pick it, but I have to mention it.
What?
I know. I
Oh,
know. I
whoa.
figured since I talked about Avatar last week, 2 weeks in a row was a bit
Oh,
much.
yeah.
So instead, this week I'm picking Midnight Sky from Scout Comics, written by James
Okay.
Pruitt with art from Scott Van Dolmelin. Don't know how. I'm sorry. Sorry, Scott. But I'm super excited for this title for two reasons. One, I've been on like this binge of watching Let's Plays of like twisty survival horror games, and that's exactly what this is. It totally checks that box. And two, it was a free comic book day title 2 years ago in 2019. And I picked up that one-shot issue and was really interested in it. And if you did and liked it or you missed it, this is a good chance to jump on board because this is a trade that collects all of the issues of this series.
Okay.
And it takes your classic kind of invasion storyline and twists it by asking one simple question, which is basically, what would you do if you discovered your son or your daughter or your spouse or any family member, someone you thought you knew really well, wasn't actually them? It looks like that person, it acts like that person, but somehow you just know it's not that person in your soul. Something feels off. And then one day you discover that it's not them, that they've been snatched by an alien race and replaced. It's very much like Revenge of the Body Snatchers vibes.
Mhm.
So it's interesting because everybody around our main character has been replaced,
Mhm.
but there's no way to tell how long they've been replaced, who
Right.
who
Right.
is actually replaced. Like you kind of suspect everyone, but there's no way to know for sure.
Mhm.
And then on top of all of that kind of confusion, Midnight Sky doubles down on this like apocalypse vibe by making it a dystopian world, which I love.
Yeah. Okay.
And the
All
sun
right.
is gone, you guys. It is night all the time, and we are
Ah. Uh-huh.
rapidly approaching some sort of temperature issue as well. So
Hmm.
all of the things I love wrapped up in one comic.
This is absolutely perfect for you. I love it. All right, cool. That's from Scout Comics, you said?
Yeah,
Scout's been knocking them out lately. They got a
we
whole
have.
Black Caravan line of like horror books too. That's actually been pretty impressive. So
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead and show them some love. Available at your local comic shop today. So typically this is the point where we do either a What's a Comic Shops video or a
Mhm.
Previews Toy Chest video with either Anime or Natasha. But something big is going on. If you noticed at the beginning of the show, the Hakes auction is happening right now. And we want to show you some of the things you guys can bid on. And when I come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So check this out.
Hakes Auctions is the premier source for all manner of Americana and collectibles, and auction number 233 is now open for bidding. Here are some of the amazing items that you can find over at Hakes.com. Be sure to check out the full auction by visiting Hakes.com. Closing dates for items in auction 233 are November 2nd through 3rd. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
All right, and shout out to Johnny for doing that video and putting it together for us. In the coming weeks, I want to say week actually, we're going to have a special guest on the show who's going to show us a little bit more and show us up and close to Captain America's shield, because that is like the premier item for this bad boy. And yeah, I'm actually on, thank you, Johnny, because I'm actually on Hakes.com, and I can tell you guys right now, yes, this is this ends on November 2nd and 3rd, because there's so many items that it takes 2 days to close out all the bidding. But yeah, beyond the Captain America's shield, which is already probably a big ticket item in itself, which is from Endgame, I want to point out. You do have CGC graded versions of the first issue of Fantastic Four, the first issue of Incredible Hulk, the first issue of X-Men, Amazing Fantasy number 15, right? Original artwork, some Boris Vallejo art from featuring Vampirella and a couple other characters, some original Charles Schultz, and so much more. So look, maybe you're in the giving mood and this is a Christmas gift you want to surprise somebody with. Maybe, I don't know.
That's a heck of a Christmas
Some
gift.
people do that. Some people do that. Maybe you're absolutely selfish and you just want to get something for yourself this year. It's totally okay. And you know what? Not all of them are big ticket items. Like, they are, not all of them are going to break the bank. So if you're interested in pop culture memorabilia, and also if you're interested in political memorabilia as well, check out the Hakes auction. Go to Hakes.com and just dive on in. If nothing else, I'm telling you, like, I just go to look at it and just kind of wish and just wish, like, say, one day I'm going to get Amazing Fantasy number 15. That's going to happen. So let's jump over to news. So New York Comic Con happened this week, right? And so with it, not necessarily at it, but with it came a bunch of news and some big events. So I'm going to kick it over to Ashton, and she's going to give us the rundown of what's been going on in the world of news.
News.
See, even Johnny's off his game today too. He's not feeling it.
Just the most beleaguered news.
It's a dreary day outside. I feel that news.
Oh yeah, dude, today sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on in the world of nerddom, Ashton?
Yeah, so the biggest kind of announcement to come out of New York Comic Con is that Saga is coming back. It is making its return, coming back in January, finally from Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. So that'll be picking up right where they left off with issue number 55. And it'll kick off a new story arc, and it'll be in stores specifically Wednesday, January 26th. And thanks to everybody's endless patience, the Saga team has also announced that they're going to return with a double-length issue. So 44 pages of story for their regular $2.99 price point. No variant covers, none of that crazy, anything special or gimmicky, just straight to the point, one cover, 44 pages, $3. It's all yours. One thing that's Image has really tried to hammer home is they are expecting this to be a big deal, right? Like, this is a beloved series. So they're expecting this to be really big, and they're urging fans that want to get their hands on a copy to pre-order. And I'm going to do the same thing. Please go to your local comic shop. Tell them to pre-order you a copy. Hold your copy, because there is a very real chance that if you don't, you might not be able to get your hands on a first printing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I mean, we've heard it all. We've heard it a lot lately, right? Like, there's been a lot of printing issues. Some of them
Mhm.
because and shipping issues because of COVID as of late, across the board. That's not just in the comics industry. So yeah, pre-order because don't take for granted that you can
Right.
just walk into a shop and pick it up because there's exterior things going on in the exterior that'll affect it. So
Mhm.
and it's a good excuse to plug Pullbox, right? Preesroll.com
Yeah.
slash Pullbox allows you to pre-order your copies of Saga or Astro City, which I'll pick up from here, Ashton. Thank you very much.
Okay. Go ahead.
So Kurt Busiek's Astro City and Aerosmith is actually returning and is coming to Image Comics. Look, Kurt Busiek is a prolific comic book writer. He's been doing this for a long time. He's written some of the greatest comics of
Mhm.
all time, including Thunderbolts and Iron Man and JLA and Avengers and Superman and so forth. And so, yeah, Astro City has been kind of gone for a while, and that was kind of like his big I want to say independent, but it's like, it's a superhero book. So it's
Mhm.
got scale and it feels bigger than most independent books, but it's its love letter to the superhero genre and his own take on it with his own
Yeah.
original creations. And also it always sports these beautiful covers by Alex Ross.
Mhm.
So that and series Aerosmith, which I haven't heard of in a while either. I don't think Aerosmith has been out for like a couple of like a decade maybe, but they're both coming to Image Comics and they're coming
Mhm.
soon to your local comic shop in 2022. So definitely check that out at your local comic shop. We'll definitely pre-order with Previews World Pull Box when it becomes available. um Ashton, what is going on with John Kent? You want to talk about this here? This is interesting, right?
This is interesting. So if you're following comic news, you've probably seen the headline, "The new Superman comes out as bi," which is not totally accurate.
Hmm.
So we have John Kent as Superman now, the
Hmm.
Superman mantle, we'll call it, passed down
Hmm.
from Clark,
Hmm.
his father. And so in the fifth issue of Superman, Son of Kal-El, which I believe is hitting shops today,
Hmm.
John Kent confirms his sexuality as bisexual. He's dating a man, and I think that's exciting. There have been kind of, mixed reviews here, but I think
Right.
it's an important step.
That's a nice way of putting it, right? Yeah. I mean, like, it's fine. Like I see people kind of getting up in arms about it. Like my issue is always when they take characters that have been around for a really long time and have always
Mhm.
kind of gone one direction, let's say, right? And then they
Mhm.
decide to completely mix it up and kind of totally dict totally what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like totally go against the history of these characters, right?
Right.
That's the thing I concern myself with. John Kitt's fairly new. Like
Yeah.
he's incredible. He's a very new character. Like I think he's only a couple years old. I've been told a million times to read Super Sons, and I haven't read it. And I'm sitting on it, and I probably will eventually because
Mhm.
I hear it's great. But it's fine. Like, but I'm with you on the headline thing. Like a lot of people on Twitter and like social media and a lot of websites are going around saying the new Superman is bisexual, and it's like, okay, he is a Superman and he has his own
Yeah,
book
there it is.
and
A
he's
Superman.
a Superman, but that yeah, Clark Kent
Mhm.
very much has multiple Superman books still.
Right.
And, Kal-El still has multiple Superman books still. I'm curious what's going to happen in this Lois and Clark TV show that they have right now because John Kent's actually
Oh
on that
god,
show.
that's right.
Right. Yeah. John Kent's actually on that show. So I'm curious if they're going to follow through with that or if they're just going to sidestep it. We'll see. But, it's okay, guys. It's all
I
right.
will say this one thing about Super Sons. I've read one issue of Super Sons. I'm not even sure how I came into it,
Mhm.
and it was great. I don't
Mm.
usually read superhero comics, but I thought it was hilarious. Both of those children are just hot messes, getting in trouble. Big recommend.
No, absolutely. As someone who used to read Young Justice back in the day, and I was all about the teenage DC characters, like yeah, I'm all about Super Sons. It's sitting on my shelf. I just haven't read it. Just haven't had time. So
Like John Kent and following instructions don't go together.
okay, fair enough.
Not his forte.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? Apparently, he marches to the beat of his own drum. So you know what? All good. Do what you want, John Kent. Absolutely. The other thing that kind of happened, I don't think this was actually at New York Comic Con, but I thought this was kind of wild, is Jake Gyllenhaal is starring in a Prophet movie.
Mhm.
Now, that in itself would be like, wait, what? Right? But then on
Uh-huh.
top of that, it's directed by Sam Hargraves, who is the guy who does the stunts for like the Marvel movies, and I think he also did a bunch of he's done John Wick and a couple of other things too.
Hmm.
So it's of course this is a Rob Liefeld property. This is something that's been around for like quite some time. And it's been a series that's been off and on. I think it started in
Hmm.
like the late '90s. Rob Liefeld's creation. Rob Liefeld passed it on to, I believe, I want to say Sophie Campbell. Correct me in the comments if I'm getting this wrong. I, for the love of me, I would have never really thought that Jake Gyllenhaal would play that character, but,
Oh God.
but I'm kind of morbidly curious about this. Like, it's kind of like, all right, this could be potentially interesting. I don't expect it to go exactly in the footsteps of the comics, but yeah, like the character, there you go. The character debuted in 1992, and first appeared in the Youngblood series. That's right. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of left field, but kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And it could be a total mess, or it could be something like really unique and really different. So we'll see. What's going on with Sabrina in Riverdale? People seem really confused about this.
There's a lot to be confused about. Sabrina is crossing over into Riverdale officially. There have been like some nods to it on Riverdale and also Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, that those two things were at least, happening at the same time in the same universe.
Mhm.
But now they're going to like properly cross them over. Season 6 will have a special episode featuring Sabrina. And
Sorry.
people are very confused because Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix ended with Sabrina dying. And now she's very much alive. So that's confusing. Also, the CW used a lot of the same actors in Sabrina, Riverdale, and Katie Keene. They double
Okay.
dipped on a couple actors. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
also creates confusion.
But see, I thought they were already always intended to be part of the same universe. I thought that was always the deal.
They are. They
Right.
are. Well, they were. They were. The
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
cancellation of Sabrina created some weird issues, and then Katie
Mhm.
King also got canceled and created other issues. I'm not
Interesting.
worried about Sabrina being dead because she's a witch and her whole family's witch.
Yeah.
So they'll just
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
her back. She's done plenty of necromancing in her day. I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
worried about it at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny that people are like confused about it. I'm like, well, she's a witch, guys. Like, I don't think you don't have to really think too hard on this. Like,
No. Also,
it's
that's
all right.
entirely what Afterlife with Archie is. Like, she
True.
tried to bring a bunch of people back from the dead and made zombies and just completely destroyed Riverdale in the process.
No, see, there you go. Except, actually, I'm surprised you did pick Sabrina this week because the new number 9 is out this week.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't pick it because I'm a couple issues, but I'm actually, I think, 3 issues behind. So
Okay.
it felt like fake to be like, pick up this issue, even though I haven't. Like,
No, you know what? I respect that because you know what? We were talking about the how we were both gushing over Echo Lands from Image, right?
yeah,
And I'm like, it's genuine, and like we want people to actually trust our opinion. So you know what?
right.
I totally respect that. I'm down with that 100%. So no, thank you for clearing that up, kind of, sort of, the Riverdale Sabrina fiasco.
I mean, there is no answer. She's coming to Riverdale. She's gonna be alive. It's not gonna make Riverdale less messy. It's gonna make it more messy.
More
We'll see what
messy.
happens.
Which, yeah, I was about to say, this seems on brand for Riverdale, so I'm kind of with it. Whatever. Actually, I will point out there is the panel episode returning. I'm sorry, the
Mhm.
panel is returning, and there's a new episode coming at the end of October, and we're going to focus on Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina,
Mhm.
like the first, I want to say first 8 issues, maybe. So, or maybe the first 6 issues. Don't
Not
quote me on
sure.
that. But
I think it's 6
yes,
or 7.
yeah, but it's coming. It's going to happen, and that's going to be at the end of October. So definitely keep an eye on that, out for that. The other thing from this weekend, again, not really from New York Comic Con, but kind of. But I'm super excited about this. They're doing a animated Blade Runner TV show for Adult Swim,
Oh, cool.
and it's called The Black Lotus. And I am super excited for this because it looks super cool, and hopefully Johnny can
Mhm.
throw up some imagery from it. Yeah, but yeah, it's something that they've been kind of developing for a while. I've always kind of, I know this is sacrilege to some people, right? But I've always wanted more just Blade Runner stories in the world. Like, I don't necessarily care
Mhm.
about the Tyrell Corporation or even necessarily the Blade Runners or just the androids. I just want more stories in this world, and it's really cool that Adult Swim is doing an animated series. Now, I will say, and I will point this out, Titan Comics has been doing a series of books for like the last several years that takes place in the Blade Runner universe. So you should definitely check that out. But yeah, I just thought this was neat and it looks cool. And yeah, I love the designs. I've always loved the designs of Blade Runner. It's one of those things that's like kind of just evergreen. Something that you can always try to kind of get into. And I know they had that Netflix had that show a couple of years ago, or not even a couple of years ago, like just maybe 2 years ago. That was kind of like Blade Runner light,
Yeah.
but it's still cool. But it's cool to actually get some officially sanctioned Blade Runner like universe stuff. And I was also really loved 2049. I thought 2049 was like a brilliant movie. So
Oh, it was.
yeah, so give me more. But just by your boy Denis Villeneuve. So there you go.
It is.
Last thing. So when I put this together for the show, I actually did not realize that this was going to happen today. William Shatner went to space. And so at New York Comic Con, he was talking about this momentous event. But I thought it was like a ways off, and then it turns out that like no, he did it today.
Man, you know what? Too like William Shatner's response, he comes back from space and is like crying about it. Big relate. I would be the same way.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, let alone, first of all, yes, okay, like he's James T. Kirk, right? So I mean, this is like obviously just like full circle for him, right?
Yeah.
But then on top of that, I mean, like, not a lot of people have gone to space, and I'm not gonna lie, the minute this becomes commercialized, I'm gonna look into if I can do the same, to be honest. Like I know people like, oh, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are jerks and fatheads and blah 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 blah. But look, guys, the minute that they say, hey, sign up to go to space from your Amazon account or from Whole Foods, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna jump all over it.
Objectively, it is the coolest thing. Like you can't deny that space is awesome.
Yes, exactly. The one thing I'm super impressed, and Johnny brought this up too, and I don't know if you want to jump in on this, Johnny, but yeah, William Shatner's like 90 years old.
That blew my mind. I had no clue.
Yeah. And I would have sworn that there was like a cap on how old you had to be to go even into suborbit. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But impressive.
I mean, sure, you and me are both old, older than Ashton at least.
No,
but I mean, you
by
and me,
proximity.
You and me are the same age, roughly.
No.
What? So when we think, or at least when I think old, I think of like from my childhood, I think of like old man George Burns, like smoking a cigar, like on the Bob Hope, celebrity roast or whatever. And you understood. If you understood any of what I just said, that means you're old too. But
no, yes, and I do.
I mean, look at him. Look at that picture. Like he does not look like a 90-year-old man.
No, it really doesn't.
That looks like my Uncle Jimmy. Seriously.
Right. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Like, yeah, it's I'm one of those people that I think of space with stars in my eyes, no pun intended. So like, yeah, if the minute that becomes something that like just regular people can do, I'm just gonna, sign me up, dude. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. I'm all into it. What else we got here? Well, actually, we got a trailer. How about that? I don't know why I sounded so surprised by that. Sorry.
Snuck up on you.
It's a trailer.
Oh, God.
Okay. So this is Magic the Gathering Planeswalker, which is a set of pins from Pinfinity, which I thought were actually really cool. So check this out. When we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Let's go. All right, and I know that that trailer was a little jarring. Sorry about that, but that is actually a previews exclusive. So that means that you can get that from previews of
Oh.
exclusively right there. So go to preschool.com/pullbox and reserve yours today. It's a set of 6 pins, and they're blackout style pins featuring the original lineup of Johnny, Jace, Liliana, Chandra, Garrick, and also Ashiok, Nightmare Weaver. And I wish I knew what those things were. If you are a MTG person, let us know. If you're a tabletop person, let us know in the comments.
Help us.
I know Chandra had a comic at one point. That's all I really know. But yeah, six set of 6, and they are arriving. Well, actually, they're $70, and they're arriving October 25th. So they're coming up soon.
Oh,
So
nice.
definitely reserve your copy today. And yeah, these are AR enabled. They are like, they come with a companion app where you can, like, what basically the way we were showing you in that video is like you can hover your phone over and they become like these kind of 3-dimensional animated
Oh.
yeah, like they pop off the pin, which is actually pretty cool. They're also kind of big, like they're kind of like card size too, which I actually think is pretty interesting.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, and it comes in that really cool box as well. So yeah, Planeswalkers, if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, definitely check that out. And that's coming October 25th. All right, so we're here. We're ready to do Social Swamp, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's get it then. It's Social Swamp time.
Okay, this week's social swamp question is a really fun one. I'm actually really excited about this. So we asked you to let your inner villain out. If you applied for any evil corporation from fiction, where would you want to work and why? So let's see what you guys had to say. NTN says Aperture Science seems like they would have the most fun office barbecues. Steven says Anaheim Electronics, they build Gundams for as many sides of the Universal Century Wars as they can get away with. Seems like a moral dilemma, but okay.
Yep.
Dwayne says Bob, Agent of Hydra, says they have a pretty good dental plan. Plus, they train you to duck and cover if certain people appear.
Fair enough.
Daniel says Guild of Calamitous Intent. I like a sense clear goals and camaraderie in my evil. Like a sense
of okay, right, yeah. I was lost on that too. All good.
Tony says, what kind of job applicant would I be if I only applied to one corporation? I'd submit my resume to multiple evil corporations to better my chances. I would even consider an evil unpaid internship.
I feel all unpaid internships are evil.
That's fair. That's true. Marike says Cobra. I hear they have great health insurance.
Respect.
Chris says LexCorp receiving department because I'll get to see all the cool and sort of evil things before the boss does and maybe even meet Lex himself.
Okay. All right.
Rich says Mega City 1's Justice Department. If you think they're heroes, you're missing the point.
Actually, thanks for including that, Johnny, because I saw that earlier and I was like, that's been a gripe of mine. Like, people think that Judge Dredd is a hero, but he's actually a bad guy in every scenario, which I think the movies have also kind of gotten wrong too as well. So yeah, like Ashton, what are your thoughts on what evil corporation would you sign up for? Is there anyone in particular that you think that you would be suited for? This is a job interview. I want to know all your skills. Please list them for me.
Okay, so I feel like this is a very obscure answer, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So in the game Stardew Valley, the main kind of like villain is this corporation called JojaCorp, which is like loosely based off of Amazon, but they're
okay.
Their entire like bad guy thing is that they want to like buy out and strip mine a local farming village, which is like just such a hilarious thing. That's like your evil thing you want to do is ruin this tiny farming village. So I think that's such like bull crap, and I'm down for that.
Okay, all right. But you're down for it though. that's your flavor of evil. That's what you can get down with, huh?
Because that's like of all the evil things you can do, you're like, I'm gonna pick on this tiny farming village, which is, by the way, part of a nation that's being invaded by a much larger nation. So it's already a war-torn country, and you're gonna strip mine it anyway. Why not? Right?
Why not? For me, actually, I have two. And like, I think for no other reason than like, I just find these, I want to know the day to day. If they did a series about these things, these two that I like, I would totally enjoy watching it just to know what the day to day is. Wayland Yutani from the Alien movies, but
Okay.
I would not be, I would not be a miner. I would not go to space. Just give me a nice little office job. I don't want to see any aliens. Like, give me something clerical,
Okay.
like I'm not going out there for anything. Like, just give me a nice number
You want
crunching
the
job
easy
and
stuff.
give me the easy stuff. But but at the same time, I want those emails where they're like, "Oh, we sent out the Nostromo and nobody came back. Should we bring the ship? Should we call the ship back from the middle of space?" I want those emails though. I want to know those things. The other thing is Wolfram and Hart from actually Angel and Buffy. Well, actually,
Ooh, okay.
particularly Angel actually. Yeah,
Mhm.
I always love the idea of an evil law firm that like basically is there entirely to kind of represent like supernatural events.
Mhm. Right.
I just thought that was always hilarious, and like I actually wish that they had gone more into Wolfram and Hart on the Angel show because I always thought that was like a great
Ooh.
concept, and I also thought it was really fitting that ultimately they were the big bad of that entire show at the end of I guess it was season 5, I believe, or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely check. Yeah, Johnny said season 5, season 5. Thank you, Johnny. So yeah, thanks for doing that, guys. That was
You know
actually a
what's
lot of fun.
interesting about this question too? I was
Mhm.
thinking about this after the fact. It's kind of interesting to pick an answer that's like, ha ha ha, funny, like this evil villain without going too far, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought about like, oh, maybe I'll pick the Fire Nation from Avatar, but then I'm like,
uh,
they did a bunch of genocide. Maybe you shouldn't.
See, Ashton, if I may jump in here, I have the easy way to get around that because my choice is the Empire from Star Wars,
Right.
but in the Robot Chicken universe.
but in the actually there was like kind of like a day-to-day office vibe to that, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's
The
like
way they represented
stormtroopers
that.
back there, like cleaning out the urinals in the Death Star and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You see
Someone's got to do it.
you see all the menial tasks that they have to go through to keep the Death Star running and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah,
No, I like that.
that's the. But I love your answer, Troy, because I actually completely forgotten about Wolfram and Hart from
Yeah.
Buffy.
Hmm.
I mean, actually from Angel, because it's just like there's dialogue in that show. It's like, did you submit the requisition form for the level sex demon that you let loose in the middle of Los Angeles? Like, just that level of
Nice.
humor and that was
Right.
hilarious. So
No,
I think your answer is better than mine, but
absolutely.
I'm with that. I'm with you on that.
No, I love that. Yeah, I loved all that stuff. I ate all that stuff, and I thought it was hilarious too. My knee jerk reaction was to say Hydra, but then
Okay.
I remembered they're kind of Nazi adjacent.
Right. See, exactly.
To your point earlier, Ashton,
Right.
actually one of my favorite, because they never mention it in the movies, but on Agents of Shield, one of the former Shield agents ends up turning and being a Hydra agent the whole time, and there's this whole interrogation scene that I thought was hilarious, where like halfway through. There's this whole conversation of like, well, you're just a Nazi. And he's like, and the guy who turned is like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not. It was like Hydra were freaking Nazis. And he's like, okay, but that was like a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But
You
I
don't
was
think
no, right, right. No, yeah. I mean, it went there, which I thought was actually pretty hilarious because everybody online had been saying that for like, about a year prior. And then they
right.
finally addressed it on the show. So I thought that was actually pretty funny. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for doing that. I thought that was actually a fun little exercise. A little bit different, right?
Yeah. It's
You know?
fun to look at it from the other side though, because like
Mhm.
you always identify with the hero. You're supposed to.
Yeah. Mhm.
But also like sometimes the evil guys, the bad guys are interesting.
Yeah. No, they can be. I mean, look, that's part of the fun too. Like, I feel like speaking of James Bond, I feel like it was somebody working on James Bond who once said that like the hero's only as good as the villain, you know,
Absolutely.
which I don't always agree with that, but I understand the logic. You know what I mean? I also understand the logic from somebody who's working on James Bond saying that. And so I get it. I totally understand. And part of it is like the villains can be fun. They can be very amusing to
Yeah.
watch and see them do horrible things. Like that's part of the enjoyment of watching these things. So yeah, again, guys, thank you very much for doing it. That was just a fun little break from all the usual intense stuff. I could have asked you about John Kent, and I was like, I don't think that's a good
Mm,
idea. Nope, not going to do that.
mm-mm. That's not going to discuss. It's not up for discussion.
Ubaldo says villains. Thank you, Ubaldo.
Villains are the best part. Like you need a good villain. If it's
You
just
do.
like if everything's good all the time and nothing hurts, like one, that's not realistic. but 2, it makes it more interesting.
It makes it more interesting, yeah.
And the best bad guys are the ones you kind of root for. I feel like I'm going on a tangent. Sorry, but I love a good villain, and I love a villain where that's so good you find yourself rooting for them against the good guys from time to time, and then you really have to have a moment like, wait a goddamn minute.
Well, we already know you're like kind of low key Team Zuko, right? Like that's your thing, right?
Hell yeah.
So we already know. Like Ashton's sitting there saying, like, yeah, the Fire Nation, I don't know, but we already know. We know the truth, Ashton. We know the truth.
Look. I'm not going to address that.
Okay, that's fine. That's probably for the best. What is this week's poll, Ashton?
Okay, guys, it's National Fossil Day, which is fun and exciting. So we're leaning into that and talking about dinosaurs, which are also great. So I asked you guys over on the Free Comic Book Day Twitter page to tell us who would win in a smackdown between our favorite purple dinosaurs. And your choices are obviously Barney or Dino, the only purple dinosaurs that matter. And this is a ridiculous question, and I have very strong opinions about it.
Okay, what is your strong opinion about this?
Oh, Dino would smack down Barney. He wouldn't even see it coming.
I mean, I actually think that's pretty fair. Dino's pretty aggressive, like in a cute, cuddly way, but yeah, I just don't see. Although Johnny, I don't even know if I should mention this.
What? Say what?
about the what was this thing about the guy who played Barney having cocaine in his tail?
Oh, good Lord.
I mean, you might as well tell the story, Johnny. Come on.
I didn't bring it up. I don't know what you're talking
That
about.
was me.
Into this.
So the guy
This is a family show.
What?
This is a family show.
So is that saying don't talk about Barney having coke in his tail?
Yes, let's just move on.
Let's just move on. All right, just
Yeah.
Google it, guys. Apparently, we can't talk about it. I mean, look, okay, whatever, fine. Anyway, all right, well, let's make Johnny decide. Johnny, where do you fall in this argument?
Oh, it's 100% Dino. There's no question about it. Do you know how many like doors of the Flintstones house Dino broke down just trying to like get out to like welcome Fred home?
Right.
Boom.
Right.
Just barrel through.
Yeah, like
No,
what did Barney ever do? Just but like teach us to love.
I mean, he could like make you go insane by singing that song on repeat.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But if you're pitting these two against each other, then yeah. Barney, like Dino's just gonna like lick that felt right off of Barney's face.
Barney don't want to smoke.
I mean, well,
Who's agreeing with
this?
this? Balda says Dino. Yeah, so we're going with Dino on this one.
Let's go with
Yeah,
Dino.
72.6% agree. And
It's a blowout.
It's a blowout. Like, and I, you know what? I think this is one of the few times I'll say I actually respect this decision.
Oh, Barney, he'd sing Dino to death.
Oh man.
Or just just to sleep until it's time to feed.
True.
And that's when the beast inside Dino awakes. So below Dabo Girl said Barney got on my damn nerves. Well, yeah, he did.
Well, I mean, you're not the only
You're
one.
not wrong. You're not wrong. So
I feel like most of these answers are out of spite for Barney too, but I think that's totally fair.
Cover Price Comics says Barney has terrible balance and footwork.
Oh yeah, he does have kind of like a high center of gravity because of his head, right? He'd be able to topple over.
Yeah, that's true. Not good for a fight. Look at it. Look at us doing like UFC style commentary for this. This is amazing.
Right.
Oh god, that would be great.
Where's a celebrity death match when you need it? Ashton, what is the comic shop shout out for this week?
Yeah, this week's comic shop shout out goes to Jimmy Jams in Winona, Minnesota, and it comes from Anthony, and he says that Heather rocks the place. So shout out to Heather specifically. We'll show you guys some pictures of Jimmy Jams at the end of the show during the credits roll, so stick around for that. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
I had a very dumb thought, and actually it's probably a really bad joke, but what if Heather is just like this homeless woman who just throws rocks through the window?
Literally rocks the place.
Oh, even Johnny's shaking his head. Yes.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. That's how you know that was a bad joke.
Yeah, but I it's so bad I love it. So.
Even better.
All right.
So good it's bad. All right. Enough of the bad jokes, guys. Sorry, we barely got through this episode, but we managed to make it to the very end. Like, follow, subscribe. Here's your
Mhm.
reminder. You can follow me at Previews World. That's pretty much at
Mhm.
Previews World everywhere. And Ashton, you can follow you where?
At Free Comic Book Day everywhere, including TikTok.
There you go. Yes. And hey, come check out on Previews World this week some of the articles I've been working on. We're doing a thing all month long called I'm dubbing it October with Octobriana, right?
Ooh,
So
okay.
Octobriana is what happened here? It's
I
like
hated that.
got freaky. Octobriana is like this Russian superhero that was created like I want to say in the late 60s. It kind of has become this free to use like character. Like she's never been copywritten. Like she's just been like utilized by everybody from like David Bowie to Billy Idol. Like Jim Rugg made a comic book about her back in I think 2020. And so now we have this new round of artists who are doing this anthology book called Octobriana with Love, and they're all doing different stories about the character and their own different interpretations. So far, I've done one with Simon Fraser, who's a 2000 AD artist, and I also did the one that Johnny just showed with Stephen Byrne, who's actually working on the upcoming Joy operations with Brian Michael Bendis. And so there's some more coming down the line. So definitely check that out. At least have 2 more coming up as we move forward October with Octobriana. So there you go. See, at the beginning of the show, I told you guys, look, even though Halloween Comic Fest isn't happening, we're still doing things here. We're doing October. We're doing October with Octobriana. We're doing things. So there you go. And that's it for Previews. Oh, you know what? Actually, there's also an article for The Last Session. I should give that a shout out. That's a new book from Mad Cave Studios. We talked a little bit about Magic the Gathering earlier in the show. The Last Session is perfect for people who are into tabletop gaming and collectible card gaming as well. Kind of a coming of age story for tabletop nerds. So definitely check that out. That's on our website as well, prevsworld.com. And that. Oh, actually, you know what? Thanks for bringing that up. That just happened today. So Diamond Comics Distributors, our mothership, right? Is I'm gonna start calling it our mothership.
I love that.
They definitely scooped up CGA, which is a it's kind of a collectibles certification operation. So we'll talk a little bit more about that for sure next week. And also, look who's eavesdropping at the last minute.
Well, better late than never, I always say.
Better late than never. There you go. Look at y'all doing a thing. Yeah, we're doing a thing, and now we're done doing a thing. So that's it for Previews World Weekly.
Okay.
I'm one of your hosts, George Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, and we barely got through this one.
We barely got through this one, guys. We'll see you at the spinner rack.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.